something with a Come on. Check 1, 2. Well, good morning and welcome to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I am your host, Frank Akeman, and as always, we are broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Market Street in Corning, and we have a ton to get to this morning. I promise you that. First of all, just as a few quick updates, we're going to talk presidential. We do have some New York State issues that I think you're going to find very, very interesting. We're going to try to cover as much as we possibly can, ranging from Biden to Trump to maybe even a RFK Jr. story in there. You'll just have to wait and see. First of all, as an update from earlier this week, and the waves are pouring in. Thank you. You can comment or wave at that number on the bottom of your screen. We mentioned how important it is to, I think it was on Monday's show, no, Tuesday show, because Joe was in on Monday, about to vote in your local elections and how it affects your day-to-day life. And we brought up specifically Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Tiffany Henyard is out of Dolton, Illinois, and there's been some real questionable financial decisions by the mayor. And we brought that to you, not because we have any connection on this program to Dolton, Illinois, but to say, look what happens when you don't maybe go into the voting booth educated. Well, the FBI is now probing the self-described super mayor over mounting accusations of misconduct and misuse of office. Where do you hear what the New York Post, learned? Again, if you didn't hear the story, she has her photo posted all over town with these big signs and billboards. She's accused of spending taxpayer money on lavish and unnecessary trips and forking over $1 million on a police detail, then using them to retaliate against her perceived enemies. Listen to this. Lawrence Gardner, who's 57, said he went and visited the FBI office because Henyard shuttered his trucking business because he refused to renew his $3,500 political contribution. I mean, this really sounds like it's out of a gangster movie, doesn't it? So coming in and saying, oh, you donated $3,500 last year. We'd like to have you renew that pledge. And he said, I can't afford it anymore. This is coming year after year. And then they came in and shut down his business. The FBI came out and went to talk to me, and I gave them all the paperwork that I had, said Gardner. They took photocopies. Their division is public corruption. So he initially made a donation. Smart move by business people to make certain donations. But then she demanded more. I made the payment. Then every year she started coming and required the same thing. And we had a problem about that. Yeah, $3,500 is a good chunk of change. When he refused to give her company or her campaign, any more money, officials claimed he was illegally selling alcohol out of his business and pulled his license. And of course, he says those allegations are false. It was just a strong arm tactic. The FBI told Gardner they received scores of complaints against Henyard, but they were just starting the investigation. So I don't want to focus anymore on this. I just want to give you the update. She also had her Tiffany Henyard Cares charity was ordered to stop seeking contributions The charity, mind you, did not register with the Attorney General's office or detail how much money they have raised, according to the station. An investigation by Fox 32 uncovered Henyard using a $10,000 Thornton Township donation for the charity. They also reported on her using taxpayer money and public employees to support the troubled charity. Now, if you recall, they had a budget surplus, and then what was it? If I recall the article correctly, in just a few short years, or maybe even short months, I think it was years though, they now have a $5 million deficit. So I'm not going to keep you updated on her story too much longer, but just another way to reiterate how important local elections are, to do your research. And that's why I say so often on this program, it's why we love having the candidates in or the politicians in on this program, so that you can learn all you need to know before you go to that voting booth come November. Yeah, I'm running a little late. One last thing. Did you see that the Biden family gave away Commander, the dog, yes, the White House dog, because it attacked so many people? I can't remember the number that I heard. Something like 30 people. President Biden has given first dog Commander to relatives. I don't know if that's a euphemism, kind of like giving the dog to a farm upstate. I'm not sure, but the White House didn't give any specifics on that. There was more information about more brutal attacks on Secret Service employees, including a case in which White House tours were suspended to mop up blood. Wow. The New York Post has a piece on it going through a lot of gruesome details. But according, I forgot about this. This happened, a similar incident happened with First Dog Major, also a German Shepherd, in 2021 after Major attacked Secret Service members every day for more than a week. This is the statement they released. The President and First Lady care deeply about the safety of those who work at the White House and those who protect them every day. Despite additional dog training, leashing, working with veterinarians, and consulting with animal behaviorists, the White House environment simply proved too much for Commander. Since the fall, he has lived with other family members. Let him attack those family members. That's a weird way of wording that whole statement, because if you cared about the safety of those who work at the White House, why did it take 30 attacks? Anyway, just an update from a story that was kind of a big story a while back, just giving you the final on that. All right, we got to our first short break. We have so much to cover. I know we started off a little weird this morning. That's kind of the mood we're in, I think, on this cold, rainy Thursday morning. So stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking.
Wow, you found it.
I did.
The History of Water Part 6? I've been dying to read this.
I know, honey.
I always wanted that book.
At Culligan, we get that most people don't think about water like we do, and that's okay. You see, when we install one of our high-efficiency water softeners, we're thinking about hard water and limescale buildup, so you can just think about longer-lasting appliances and softer skin and hair. At Culligan, we think about your water, so you don't have to.
Call today to schedule your free water test.
This happened. You want your repair done right. Bring it to Nappy's, or if undrivable, have it towed right to us. It's your choice where to take your vehicle. Nappy's has a state-of-the-art paint booth and a new and improved repair shop. Let our friendly staff of specialists help you through the process and get it done right the first time. Commit to Nappy's, family-owned for 3 generations. Voted #1 auto body repair shop 17 times in the Twin Tiers.
Thank you for your business.
Insist on Nappy's auto body done right.
Tired of that pan that always sticks? It's so scratched and worn, you can't cook in it.
Hi, Chef Daniel Green here with my new hammered pans from Gotham Steel. This complete 9-piece set is guaranteed to beautify your kitchen like never before. Hammered pans are ultra non-stick, and they're even oven safe up to 500 degrees. So bake homemade chicken pot pie or this whole chicken dinner. Use metal beaters straight in the pan for a gourmet souffle that slips right out. Plus the entire set is dishwasher safe and PFOA free.
Get the full 9-piece Gotham Steel hammered set for just 5 payments of $49.99, and we'll even ship it to you free. But order now and we'll drop 1 payment. That's just 4 payments of $49.99. Plus, we'll include this free steamer and strainer, and our 5-piece bakeware set with every pan you'll ever need to make delicious breads, cakes, and desserts. That's a huge 15-piece set with free shipping. Call or click now.
Call 1-800-608-1538 or go to buyhammered.com.
Saturday night on Fox Primetime Hoops. It's a battle in the Big East as Villanova takes on top-ranked UConn. Donovan Clingan leads the Huskies as the defending champs look to showcase why they are the best in the nation.
Exclamation point!
But Eric Dixon and the Wildcats have their sights set on a huge upset. Villanova, UConn. Coverage begins Saturday at 7 Eastern.
The biggest games are on Fox.
Broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. You are watching Frankly Speaking. It's sometimes as if when the news comes in, they're just confirming what we've been saying for so often on this program. Just some vindication here. Remember when the media and those in Washington tell us, specifically in the White House with Bidenomics, that everything's good. Yeah, you're not recognizing it. You're not seeing it. But it is. The economy is just booming. Don't worry. And then I know I've said this a million times on the program, that then you get your receipt after buying groceries and you think, where is this booming economy? Well, to vindicate what we've been saying, soaring grocery bills and restaurant tabs are eating up more of your paycheck than they have in 3 decades. Yes, George H.W., not George W., George H.W. was in office the last time spending on food was this high. In 2022, U.S. consumers spent 11.3% of their disposable income on food as raging inflation jacked up prices on everything from bacon, eggs, and milk at local supermarkets to burgers and burritos at fast food joints. That's according to recently released data from the Agricultural Department. So that's the highest number since 1991, when George H.W. Bush was ramping up the first Gulf War. The problem is showing no signs of letting up as restaurants, retailers, and manufacturers alike continue to grapple with soaring labor costs, and the price of key commodities, including beef and cocoa, continues to ratchet higher. According to the USDA, food at home prices, so not even treating yourself and going out for a meal, food at home increased another 5% last year, according to, as compared to 2022, where these numbers are from. So already 5% higher, or double the historical average rate at which retail food price inflation rose per year between 2003 and 22. And then let's take a look at, hey, we're going to go out and have a nice meal. Well, the away from home food prices at restaurants surged a staggering 5.1% over the same time period. And just if you're not thinking fancy, you're saying we're going to go fast food, that's at 5.8%, an even higher number. A trend that continues after 22 states raised their minimum wage last month. So expect these numbers to grow. I mention that just again because we're told so often on a nearly daily basis that never mind what you're experiencing and feeling, never mind maybe the financial struggles you're going through, everything is okay. Just no bias in that statement. That's just what the media is telling us. And this is what the numbers are telling us. And let's face it, at the end of the day, what does it boil down to? What our pocketbook, our wallet tells us. All right, we're going to talk about the Biden administration, some things. Really is a little bit of an update from yesterday. I do have some interesting New York issues, some international issues. We're going to cover a lot. So you're going to have to buckle in this morning. One quick thing. Aaron Rodgers, the football player, of course, has been seen hiking with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. New York Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers was seen hiking with 2024 presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as a former continues his recovery from a torn left Achilles. It was tweeted out. Kennedy wrote, "Hiking with Aaron Rodgers and his amazing Achilles." Okay. The pair were seen in a photo posted to social media standing on a foothills trail along with several dogs. I don't know if that's an official endorsement. We haven't heard a lot ever since, I believe, in my opinion, what was an effective Super Bowl ad from a PAC supporting Robert F. Kennedy. Gained a lot of traction. A lot of people started Google searching Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And then you recall the long knives came out yet again for him, which Never did I expect to see the day where the media would turn on a Kennedy, but that's exactly what happened. And we started hearing the campaign was in disarray. He had to apologize for the ad, that he's going to steal votes from Biden and make sure Trump gets in. They tried everything. And then I think they went to the old tried and true route of just not talking about him. But I'll tell you, it goes without saying, because I've mentioned it numerous times on this program, but I found that ad to be one of the most memorable of the Super Bowl just because of how different it was, how catchy it was. And I know a lot of people were talking about it, and that scared a lot in the media. But that's another example. They tell us, well, he's going to, originally, remember that, this is great for Biden, going to steal all the votes from Trump. They must have changed their attitude because after that ad, they did not seem so quick to push that narrative. But we've got to take another break. Stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking.
Today is the day to start making every day better with a Hustleson's hot tub. Hustleson's winter clearance event is going on now through the end of the month. Save $1,000, $2,000, even $5,000 off Hustleson's already low prices and get free Bluetooth music. With Hustleson's offering many 0% interest-free financing options for up to 5 full years, why wait? Come in today during Hustleson's winter clearance hot tub event and see why your next hot tub should be a Hustleson's hot tub. Hustleson's, your community partner since 1955. Remember, it's always fun to poke in the corners at Hustleson's.
Coons Sitten's been courting. Hey, did you know that Coons has been in business since 1955? Wow, that's going on 70 years. And did you know that Coons is still family owned and operated? Really? That's 3 generations. Way to go, Steve. Did you also know that their salespeople are non-commissioned and they offer delivery and financing? That's awesome. So why do they want you to shop and compare then? Because they are confident that you won't find a better deal.
Guaranteed.
Coons Sit and Sleep in Corning.
Shop and compare.
Getting real video for a commercial used to be extremely expensive, but not anymore. WYDC TV Big Fox now offers the Twin Tiers amazing aerial video for your business. We do it with our state-of-the-art drone and commercially licensed aerial pilot. Beautiful HD aerial video and pictures custom-made for your commercial. Call or email now to advertise on Big Fox TV and let everyone see your business in a whole new way.
We are back with Frankly Speaking. We just don't have time to play all that great music. I wanted to show you this before we move on to the other story. I meant to put this up on the screen. I apologize. There is the graph from the New York Post about your total food costs, 11.3% most since 1991. You see those dips. Interesting that drop there. What happened around those years? I can't remember. Anyway, let's get back to the news of the day. Biden, the media is starting to get a little bit mad. And I don't think nothing's going to come from this. Let me first clarify. But there are some pieces coming out where the media is giving a little pushback when the White House keeps sending letters and keeps complaining about the coverage they're receiving. As a matter of fact, surprisingly enough, the Associated Press has an article about it. But notice how they put it kind of lightly. In an election year, and Biden's team is signaling a more aggressive posture towards the press. So aggressive posture, not really tough words, but according to the AP, with a re-election campaign underway, there are signs that those behind the president are starting to be more aggressive and publicly challenge how he is being portrayed. Now, what they're saying is, and this is how they've got to make sure to take their dig at Trump, it's not quite enemy of the people territory, referring to past quotes from the former president, but it is noticeable. Frank Sesno, a professor at George Washington University and former CNN Washington bureau chief, said it is a strategy. It does several things at once. It makes the press a foil, which is a popular pattern for politicians of all stripes. It can also distract voters from bad news. And this is, I think, the important sentence in this. And this is where I think, unfortunately, the direction is headed. And while some newsrooms quickly dismiss the criticism, quote, others may pause and think twice about what they write. And isn't that the ultimate goal? Hey, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, stop reporting on what her had to say or the mistakes that the president is making or whatever. Focus on what we tell you to focus on. And how many people from Media 101 going to school being taught by what would be more liberal professors who believe the ultimate saints in media are Woodward and Bernstein, someone who brought down a sitting Republican president. So maybe they think twice about going after the Biden administration. The not New York Post, Fox News is also reporting on this. Kelly O'Donnell, the president of the White House Correspondents Association, pushed back on the letter that was sent there, I believe it was last week, maybe the week before, by the White House, and argued that the White House's concerns should have been addressed in reaching out to specific news organizations. It is inappropriate for the White House to utilize internal pool distribution channels, primarily for logistics and rapid sharing of need-to-know information to disseminate generalized critiques of news coverage. Okay, so she's not critical of the fact that the White House is putting a pressure campaign on media outlets and saying, report on this, don't report on that. You better, I mean, some of the wording of it is very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very, a pressure campaign, a very wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And it would be interesting, yes, Trump was not friendly to the media. I mean, he gave them a lot of coverage, gave them a lot of interviews, things like that. But I'm saying that he did call them enemy of the people and like that. But if you start getting letters in the media from that White House, I think you'd have much different reporting on this. I'd also say media people are very egotistical and believe that their job is the most important job in the world. So to get pushback can have some people turn and say, wait a minute, don't tell me how to do my job. But I'll continue. TJ Ducklow, a Biden campaign spokesperson, was highly critical of the media for focusing on the president's age and argued Americans deserved reporters who also cover Trump's comments and policy positions, quote, with the seriousness and ferocity this moment requires. So what does that say? Read between the lines here. It's, you better start commenting more on Trump, as if they're not negative coverage around the clock on Trump. You better do more of that because you want to seem defeated too, right? Of what this moment requires. So start focusing on him and stop focusing on what has become a very major concern with the president's health. That statement lamented on the focus on Biden's age and claimed there was an overall lack of coverage of some of Trump's recent controversial statements. Are you kidding me? Yeah, that's one thing I think we can all agree on, that lack of coverage on Trump's controversial statements. A White House reporter told Fox News Digital of the pressure campaign, that's the term they use as well, quote, they can spin away, but the special counsel broke the seal. It's fair game now. It's fair game for a long time, but the media refused to report on it. A political reporter in Washington who's covered the Biden White House said many journalists are growing tired of the nagging and complaining coming out of this administration. They should be. They've done everything to help Biden, going back to the campaign in the basement. So they should be upset when they get pushback after using kid gloves. Quote, the White House and campaign memos to media criticizing our coverage are a joke to any serious reporter. White House comms would never admit to losing, or this is a good point, White House comms would never admit to losing control of a narrative, even though they lost it a long time ago. The campaign team is more aggressive as they believe that fueling conflict with the press is the best path forward to generate positive results. Also, and listen to this, Sam's also sent a letter, because that's who was the author of a few of these letters to the media, sent a letter to news organizations in September, I forgot about this, and urged the media to ramp up their scrutiny of House Republicans. You better ramp that up. Quote, it's time for the media to ramp up its scrutiny of House Republicans for opening an impeachment inquiry based on lies. Think about that. Telling these reporters how to do their job. It's time for you to ramp up. It seems like there'd be more pushback, but the media can only do so much pushback for a Democrat administration, but it does have to get a little bit tedious. That's more of an update than anything this morning from something that we brought to you numerous times. We got to take another short break. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
More cars. Lower prices. More cars at lower prices. You've waited long enough. Make car buying simple when you drive your deal at Simmons-Rockwell.com, where you'll always find more cars at lower prices.
This right here is confidence in a bottle.
It makes me feel so much more confident than I've ever felt.
They are some of the hottest videos on social media. Those videos claiming to instantly get rid of bags under your eyes. Annette Figueroa is here to tell us why she says this one is for real.
This one is for real, and I'm so excited. We even have a video, and all he uses is a small amount on a clean, dry face. And what it does is it tightens and lifts the appearance of bags underneath your eyes. And I did this to my father. We were at home, so we applied it to his under eye bags, and let me tell you, we were so excited. In under 10 minutes, they visibly disappeared from view, and now it is literally part of both of our daily routines. And not only does it work on the bags, it works on the appearance of crow's feet, fine lines, and wrinkles.
At our $14.95 price, it's the best way to try Plexiderm and see it work after your first application. Your solution is at plexidermtrial.com or call the number on your screen.
Hungry are you to become Hell's Kitchen winner? Truthfully. Where's our standard? Don't work with a mistake. What happened tonight completely surprised me.
All new Hell's Kitchen. Then it's the Lego Masters Smash-a-thon.
The top 100 smashes and crashes. You can't get this kind of excitement on The Masked Singer.
Thank you again for joining us here on Frankly Speaking on WYDC TV Big Fox, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio, receiving some comments from viewers. Yes, Ken, to your point, just to paraphrase here real quick, because I didn't have a chance to print it off. I do believe, just to make it the larger picture, because there are migrants being shipped from Texas to Republican cities, I do believe, just in general, the open porous borders were very much done to have a change in the electorate. As a matter of fact, to tie that in, it may backfire a little bit, because obviously this administration is getting a lot of pushback now, where Democrats are even saying you waited too long to do this. And remember, Biden's been saying he's done all he can possibly do, but now we learn he's trying to do an executive order. So which is it, right? But to your point, did you see yesterday, and this is good news, we'll see where it goes from here, but a law that would allow green card holders to vote in city elections in New York City remains in limbo more than 2 years after it's passed. Now, the non-citizen voting law has been ruled unconstitutional on appeal. We determined that this local law was enacted in violation of the New York State Constitution and municipal home rule law, and thus must be declared null and void. Read the Wednesday ruling from Paul Wooten, an Associate Justice of the Appellate Division. Yeah, but I do believe in the beginning, well, really this whole time, the open porous borders have been a way to change the electorate. That was the ultimate goal. And the reason specifically, there's a lot of different reasons to be sent to Republican areas in general. So thank you for that. I just kind of glanced over that really quickly. I keep those comments coming in. But yes, Biden's bold and risky border move, according to Axios, looking at an executive order which is similar to Trump's. So remember, at the time, during the campaign and day one, this is what the administration was bragging about: getting rid of Trump's executive orders that have led to the problem that we're seeing today. Now they don't want to brag about it. Now they want to say, after years of we've done all we can do and we're trying and the Republicans got to work with us, now they're saying, oh, I guess there is something we can do. No executive action, no matter how aggressive, can deliver the significant policy reforms and additional resources Congress can provide, and the Republicans have rejected. That's what they're trying to go with. They're trying to, I know this sounds wild, but they believe, meaning they, the Democrats, believe that they can win on running on immigration, on border security. Van Jones is careful in how he words this to make sure to, again, blame Republicans. But Van Jones on CNN's AC 360, former Obama advisor, if you're not familiar with Van Jones, said, here's the reality. Everybody has a number that is too big before they say something's got to be done. Some Republicans, if one person came across and they're undocumented, they'd say, shut the whole border down, build a wall, and never let the door be back open. Okay, I think that's a little extreme. For some people, it might be 10. For some people, it might be 100,000, 1 million, 5 million, 50 million. At some point, the number's too big even for Democrats. And now we're at a place where, because Congress won't act, Republicans won't let Congress act, the number is too big of people coming across the border, even for Democrats. And so look, the president is going to take some action. The reality is, the courts might strike it down. Also, to your point, he's floating these trial balloons to kind of see what the reaction is. But if Republicans are going to politicize the issue and then refuse to act on it, Biden has to do something. Well, this is what I mean. They're going to try to run on this being an issue with Republicans. But I find it interesting that even Axios reporting, Axios pretty far left, saying the actions under consideration will inflame Latino groups and the progressive wing of Biden's party, which has expressed alarm about some of the policy changes Biden has been mulling. So is he willing, because we've got a piece that I'm not going to get to quite yet, but I want to make sure we get to before the end of the program, about Biden weakening on his stance on Israel. And it ties in with a larger, and we've had him all week, he's starting to back off from the EV mandates. He's starting to change his tune on Israel. He's starting to talk about executive orders. He's trying to do everything to appease his base. But then you have with the EV cars or EV mandates and with the executive orders, he's going to lose some more of that base. So it's really fascinating to see them, and that's what this piece I'll bring up in just a moment is about, him always trying to find that middle ground, not in the political sense, but to get as many votes as possible, ever-changing, if you will. But one last thing on immigration, and then we're going to take a break, and then we'll talk about that piece, because I do want to get to that. Paul Begala was on CNN's The Source yesterday, and this is what he said about the border. I think the president has a good argument, which is we need new laws. And the political argument that wins is when he says belatedly, excuse me, that's the important part, belatedly, but now says we have to control the border. Belatedly, so let's see, 3 years, more than 3 years into his administration is just belatedly realizing that we have to do something about the border, when his big campaign issue was getting rid of those executive orders on day one. So the winning argument to Paul Begala, the winning argument here is saying, yes, we have to have new laws, belatedly. I will close the border if Congress gives me that power. People want order. We love immigrants. I think W had it right. I like when they say things like that, because did you at the time? But anyway, and I think Obama had it right. We used to say we're a nation of laws and a nation of immigrants. And I do think that Democrats have been slow to come to the conclusion that we've got to have order. Once you then have order, then people open their hearts. They love immigrants. They want immigrants, but they got to have order. Biden is now going to give them order. It would have nothing to do with an election year. Belatedly came to that conclusion. Okay. So now we're going to take a break, and we're going to talk about another way that the administration is changing. This is a piece by Stephen F. Hayward, so stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
Isn't your wellness important? Don't you want more energy? Now's the best time to make every day better and relieve those achy muscles and pains than with the Hesselsen's Hot Tub. Hesselsen's has hot tubs in stock and available for immediate delivery with unbelievable savings. Hesselsen's offers 0% interest-free financing for up to 5 full years. Hesselsen's carries the only hot tub brand in the industry with the exclusive freshwater salt system that is eco-friendly and easy to use and only enhances your hot tubbing experience. Come in today and see why your next hot tub should be a Hesselsen's hot tub. And remember, it's always fun to poke in the corners at Hesselsen's.
Attention, this is an important message for firefighters, members of the military, and airport workers. For decades, first responders and firefighters at military bases and airports used a chemical-based foam to fight fires. Studies have shown that chemicals used to make aqueous film-forming foam, or AFFF, are highly toxic to humans and have been associated with several types of cancer. If you or someone you know was diagnosed with any of those cancers, call now for a free case review. What do you do when your tire goes flat and there's no air anywhere? You reach for Bullseye Pro, the smarter, faster, hands-free way to fill it up with air. Bullseye Pro is equipped with a rechargeable lithium-ion power plant. So fast and so convenient. It's like the power of an air compressor in the palm of your hand. Look, you can inflate all 4 tires on a single charge. It has a built-in smart pressure digital sensor that gauges and automatically stops when the set tire pressure is reached. Easily inflate pool toys, exercise balls, and more. Call or go online now and get the complete Bullseye Pro inflation system for the factory direct price of just $79.99. Plus, we'll ship your entire order free, and we'll give you a 50% discount on a second one. Order now.
To order, call 1-800-977-4997. That's 1-800-977-4997, or go to getbullseyepro.com.
It's a season of Sherry.
Having a good time has always been my #1 goal. I tend to get crazy. At my age, I should not be jumping up and down like that. And if you don't know what I mean, ask your mama. The young ones, y'all like, we don't know what you're talking about. But I promise you, in 30 years, you will.
It's the best time in daytime.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. on Big Fox.
Our roof cam view here on Frankly Speaking. Welcome back. We're broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. So Stephen F. Hayward says it appears President Biden is moving to sell out Israel. And we have been talking about this extensively on the program. This is from a possible UN Security Council resolution calling for a temporary ceasefire, which would surely become permanent, and opposition to an Israeli attack on Rafah, the last major Hamas stronghold. But then Tuesday, the United States vetoed a Security Council resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire, which our media are shamefully describing as, quote, widely supported. Without reporting within the UN diplomatic community, anti-Semitism is widely supported. So what is going on? A closer look at the Biden resolution draft reveals equivocation, calling for a ceasefire as soon as practical, and linking it to hostage releases, which would help to create the conditions for a sustainable end to hostilities. Clearly, Biden wants to have it both ways, posturing as someone who supports Israel while working for a, quote, diplomatic solution. Do Biden's people, let alone the rest of the world, really think this mealy-mouthed resolution would be taken seriously? The first thing to understand about Joe Biden, this is why I bring up this piece. Again, it's by Stephen F. Hayward at the New York Post. You can find it there this morning. I want to make sure I had it up on the screen. Yes. The first thing to understand about Joe Biden is he stands for nothing except the advancement of Joe Biden and his family's finances, it seems. The only major piece of legislation he championed in his long Senate career was the 1994 crime bill, and he has now repudiated that bill. He now talks poorly of that bill. How has he managed to prosper in national politics for more than 50 years? The second thing to understand about Biden is his political superpower throughout his career has been to perceive the shifting center of the Democrat Party, the opinion. So how the Democrat Party is changing in their opinion, and he moves with it. And that's why I bring it up, because we talk about it with the border. Thus, he went from being a moderate civil rights skeptic, an abortion opponent in the 70s, along with Al Gore and others, to a progressive race baiter and pro-abortion fanatic in recent years, according to Stephen F. Hayward. And please feel free to write in at that number on the bottom of the screen if you disagree. I'd love to hear your point. When the Democrat Party's ideological center shifts, he's always shifted instantly with it. He is the ultimate political chameleon or shape shifter. If you recall, back in 1986, you may have forgotten about this. It's gonna really bring home this point. In 1986, he declared he'd vote to support Robert Bork for the Supreme Court if Reagan were to nominate him. But not even a year later, after leftist activist groups declared a jihad against Bork, Biden did an instant 180 and distorted the judicial confirmation process to defeat him. Biden is single-handedly responsible for our poisoned judicial politics ever since. So I thought that was a great point. The problem for Biden is his superpower of following his shifting party center works fine for a senator, but doesn't work for a president. The party is split badly on Israel and the Gaza war. You have kind of the older generation Democrats that want a strong support for Israel, and then you have the new progressive activists and college kids and the like, and the squad and those who are very much anti-Israel support. Now, keep in mind, Biden has never been a stout supporter of Israel. And he goes through the history of that, and we just unfortunately don't have time for all that. But the final piece of evidence of Biden's bad faith is the persistent talk of creating a Palestinian state, the mythical two-state solution to help end the war against Hamas. This is what, to me, I think was perhaps the best line in the whole article by Stephen F. Hayward. If a Palestinian state is the ultimate outcome of the current conflict, it will mean Israel was defeated by the October 7th attack, even if Israel kills every Hamas fighter. Yes, the October 7th attack, when it comes to those that are anti-Israel, would have been a success. Think about that. If a Palestinian state is the ultimate outcome of the current conflict, it will mean Israel was defeated by the October 7th attack. And what we have heard behind the scenes is that's what this administration is floating, trying to ultimately bring, whether at the conclusion of the war or whatever, the Palestinian state, and instantly led it into the UN. But I'll continue. Even in his present debilitated state, President Biden surely knows this, but his political self-interest, as always, will determine his decisions. I thought that was a really interesting piece by Stephen F. Hayward. We got to take another short break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And Frankly Speaking, here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
We were wasting so much money. The Koala team made the whole process so easy, and we saw savings on our very first bill.
The inspection was really eye-opening.
It's a great feeling knowing that we're truly energy efficient.
Now we're finally properly insulated.
Koala is a first-class company all the way.
It's time you discover Koala Insulation.
Hi, I'm Darren with Koala Insulation of Southern Tier. Give us a call. We are fully insured and we offer veteran and military discounts.
If you or a loved one regularly used hair relaxers or straighteners and were diagnosed with uterine, ovarian, or endometrial cancer, you may be entitled to significant financial compensation.
I've used hair relaxers for years. I had no idea they could cause cancer.
Chemical hair relaxers and straighteners have been linked to serious conditions, including several types of cancer.
How do I know if I have a case?
Call 844-292-6222 and consult with one of our attorneys to find out if the products you used are part of the lawsuit. Your eligibility will also depend on how often you use these hair products and your specific cancer diagnosis. If you regularly used hair relaxers or straighteners and were diagnosed with uterine, ovarian, or endometrial cancer, call us now. Call 844-292-6222.
How much will it cost to talk to an attorney?
There is no fee unless we win your case. Call 844-292-6222 for your free case review.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Then call now and get this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers, from a leading financial firm on maximizing your income in retirement. This book reveals little-known secrets about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms that can help you make the right choices before buying an annuity. And if you call right now, as a bonus, we'll throw in a free annuity rate report. We've researched over 1,200 annuities summarizing the rates and benefits for you. So don't miss out on this opportunity because supplies are limited. Call now and find out how you can get up to 33% more income in your retirement, and you'll receive Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and the Annuity Rate Report as an added bonus. Both books are yours free, just for calling Annuity General today.
Call 800-354-5972. That's 800-354-5972. Again, 800-354-5972.
We are back with Frankly Speaking. Thank you for joining us. Another comment from a viewer. Is it possible that Biden's criticism of the media is a plan between the legacy media and the Democrats. They might think that it will give them some credibility with the sheeple, people that aren't critical thinkers that blindly follow the crowd. Perhaps, here's the thing. I know it was a little bit different, but about once a quarter during the Obama administration, there'd be some pushback on the media saying, hey, we need more press conferences. Nothing would ever come from it, but it was kind of a way to say, oh, we want more access. Look, we're not happy with them. I don't think so. I think the White House is generally upset because the media isn't supposed to cover any negative issues with the president when it's a sitting Democrat president. Yes, every once in a while you'll get some little tidbit that they might not be happy with and they might turn for a second. But they're not the only reason, this is why they're upset, the only reason that this was reported on, meaning the mental health issues, is because it could no longer be denied. And though I don't think credibility is ultimately a major goal for a lot of the mainstream media outlets, I do think at some point you have egg on your face if you don't cover it. And that's why I highlighted, and I didn't give names, but I highlighted some of the newscasts that I watched that would say, knowing that they had to report on it, here's some issues with Biden, but also don't forget this about Trump. Okay? Don't forget that he one time messed up Nikki Haley with Nancy Pelosi or something, you know. So I think this was just, they couldn't lose all credibility. They've almost done that, but they couldn't lose all credibility. So I'm not sure if that's why they're pushing back on the pushback, but they're not really. I mean, they're saying the White House is sending us this letter. Nah, we don't really like it, but it's not really hard-hitting news. So I think Biden is generally that upset. You're not supposed to do this to me. I'm supposed to get kid glove treatment. You're supposed to focus 24/7 on your hatred of Trump and really only talk about me in glowing terms, talk about no matter what's happening, Bidenomics is working, those type of things. So I do generally think it's a little bit of shell shock from those within the administration saying, wait a minute, what happened to the media that was so easy on us during our campaign in the last 3 years? What happened? So they get angry. You know, it's like a child that gets everything he wants, and then that one time doesn't get something, doesn't get that pony that he asked for his birthday, and the anger comes out. That's what it seems like to me. But I'm not disagreeing with your point at all, Ken. That maybe it's a plan to make it look a little bit more legit. Though I don't know if that will help. Okay, let's talk about Trump for just a moment. I'd love to hear your opinion on this. Let me look at my time. I'm doing good. Okay, do you remember Paul Ryan? Kind of really, and I think Trump has said this in the past, kind of the poster child for this idea of rhino, right? Paul Ryan was, he ran with Mitt Romney, did not carry his own state for Mr. Romney. He, many people believe, did a lot to be a monkey wrench at the very beginning of the Trump administration. And it was also one of the criticisms I bring up a lot is the fact that Republicans for so long talked about repealing and replacing Obamacare, and then when we had when they had the majority, were not prepared. It was more of a campaign talking point because they know it got votes, but they never really had any plan in place. But I'll continue. Paul Ryan spoke with the Washington Post. He said, "I'm in the minority of my party right now. I'm not in the establishment. I'm frankly an anti-establishment Republican. And you know, I think you can safely argue, I don't enjoy acknowledging this, that Trump is the establishment and Trump populism is the establishment, and that Trump populism is the more isolationist strain that I think is wrong and dangerous and I don't support. But that does represent a large swath of Republican voters." He also, and take this however you want it, think about this. He praised former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley for running against Trump, calling it healthy for the party. "I do think she's bringing up a healthy dialogue, raising the important questions. So I think it's healthy for our party that she stays in the race." He also asserted that Trump is beating Biden in the polls not because he is a strong candidate, but because Biden is a weak candidate. Well, if there's someone that I know who should weigh in on a strong candidate, it's the VP for Mitt Romney. I know that's who I seek out when I look for people that could tell me who a strong candidate is. I say, I wonder what Romney's VP would think. He argued that the indictment against him, meaning Trump, made him more popular by framing him as a victim. These indictments made him a victim. It gave him a very credible victim narrative and grafted MAGA onto him. People want to see a fighter. I would agree with that. I'm not going to disagree with Ryan on that point. So I'll move on. Ryan would not rule out a return to politics, keep that in mind, saying that although he enjoys his life now, he is, quote, deeply worried about the country. I'm young enough to have a third career. I'm in my second career right now. Who knows? I don't know, but it's not really on the top of my mind right now, frankly. Let's take a break. Let me know what you think about that. Paul Ryan and what he had to say. We'll be right back.
Our water's better tasting. It's better for the planet.
That's great, sir. Can I take your order?
Oh, number 3.
At Culligan, we get that most people don't think about water like we do, and that's okay. You see, when we install our drinking water and softening systems, we're thinking about filtering contaminants and the minerals that make water hard. So you can just think about softer, cleaner, better tasting water. At Culligan, we think about your water, so you don't have to.
Call today to schedule your free water test.
Attention, if you or a loved one regularly used hair relaxers or straighteners and were diagnosed with uterine, ovarian, or endometrial cancer, you may be entitled to significant compensation.
I've used hair relaxers for years. I had no idea they could cause cancer.
Chemical hair relaxers and straighteners have been linked to serious conditions, including several types of cancer. If you used hair relaxers and now have uterine, ovarian, or endometrial cancer, call now to see if you qualify. There's no fee unless we win your case.
Shell Missy face off in
Why can't we watch DuckTales? Because we don't learn anything.
Book Smarts versus Street Smarts.
Is it working? Are you feeling motivated? Very.
It's the battle of twins.
Life is so confusing. I always hoped it would be easier for me when I grew up. It's gonna be all right. You were faking. Bazinga.
Young Sheldon. Weeknights at 6:30 on Big Fox.
Thank you again for joining us here on Frankly Speaking. I do have to move along here. We've been talking about presidential politics. I want to talk about one international story. The show is going, as always, very quickly. So I want to jump around a little bit here. First of all, as an update, there's been a lot of updates this morning about that warning about Russia and the nuclear weapon being put into orbit. American intelligence agencies have told their closest European allies that if Russia is going to launch a nuclear weapon into orbit, it will probably do so this year, and listen to this caveat, but that it might instead launch a harmless dummy warhead into orbit to leave the West guessing about its capabilities. I don't have good news, bad news, but I don't have any more information about this other than I wanted to give you that update from what's being reported. Okay, I know on this program, especially in the early days, we may have talked about this. I don't think too much, but you may have said, geez, there's other topics, Frank. And that was China wanting to become a world superpower. We had conversations with both former congressmen, Joe Semplinsky and Tom Reed, about it. Listen to this coming from the Sun, United States. How President Xi, is casting weak Britain aside to make China the kingmaker in World War III flashpoint Middle East. And the ultimate goal? Seek world domination. This is a fascinating piece. Again, I found it on a link, I think, from Drudge Report, but it's at thesun.com. Xi Jinping is casting a weak Britain aside to make China the kingmaker in the Middle East as the despot vies for world domination. This is what we've been saying since, well, before this program, but this is when you first heard it from me on this program, that China's end goal and why they are a real serious threat is to become a world superpower, the world superpower. And that's why when you hear what I just mentioned with Russia and the nuclear weapon and what that would do to the grid if that were to happen, and Russia and China in bed together, they want to be, as it says here, seek world domination. And now, Barik Siner, a senior research fellow at the UK-based think tank Henry Jackson Society, has warned China's power in the region meaning the Middle East, has only increased since the Israel-Hamas war and the Red Sea attacks on commercial vessels by the Houthi rebels. So you can find that for yourself, but just really another example of a story we've been talking about for quite some time. We've got to take our last break. We're going to wrap things up here on Frankly Speaking. It's going to be breakneck speed in our last few minutes, so stay with us.
Hey everyone, Emerald Lagasse here, and I'm so excited to tell you about my biggest air fryer yet.
Introducing Emerald Lagasse's Dual Zone Air Fryer Oven with dual-sided cooking chambers. Now you can cook 2 different foods 2 different ways that finish at the same time. Enjoy juicy grilled burgers at the same time as air-fried French fries. Broiled savory salmon at the same time as roasted asparagus. The secret is in the QuickSync technology that matches the cooking times and settings of each food, so they're programmed to finish at the same time. But watch, remove the center divider and it transforms into a large 25-quart capacity oven. Now you can try Emerald Lagasse's Dual Zone Air Fryer Oven with free recipe book in your home for 30 days for just $14.99. But wait, we'll automatically upgrade you to his deluxe cooking kit and 1-year VIP protection plan absolutely free, complete with everything you need to cook Monday to Sunday family-size meals. Plus, ask how you can get free shipping. This offer will not last, so order now.
You're gonna love it, I guarantee it.
Today's challenge is a curry in a hurry. Pedal to the metal, baby.
Fox Thursday, as the challenge gets spicy.
I've never made a curry. The creativity is 10 out of 10.
Blaze, you good?
No, I'm not good.
Can the chefs reach new heights?
Get it! Yeah. Is she a gymnast?
Tonight. All right, we are back with Frankly Speaking. We're going to go through some quick New York State issues. Get ready. Republicans will convene, I should say, in Binghamton today to select a Senate candidate. We've been talking about this. There's 3 people that are want to vie against Gillibrand. Republican leaders from around New York State are arriving in the city of Binghamton for the Grand Old Party's statewide nominating convention. If you've ever had people knock on your door for petitions and you're a registered Republican, you'll know there's delegate committees. Anyway, Republican officials will vote to endorse one, and it's just an endorsement, one of a handful of candidates looking to unseat Gillibrand. So it's not the ultimate say, but it's you definitely want the endorsement. Republicans from around the state will meet in the DoubleTree by Hilton Hotel in downtown Binghamton this morning at 9:30 to conduct official business. There's lots of talking and schmoozing as hopeful candidates for the U.S. Senate try to get their local officials to back their campaign to run against Gillibrand. Republican county chairs, state committee members, party activists, and local supporters will vote for their preferred candidate to challenge Gillibrand. Hundreds of Republican leaders will be voting. 2 candidates have been campaigning since last year. If you recall, I interviewed Josh Eisen. There's also who's considered the favorite, former NYPD detective and business owner Mike Sapricone, and then just recently Trump supporter Cara Castronova joined the fray. She could still be on the primary ballot in June if she gets 25% of the support on Thursday. I forgot about that. You need to get 25% of the support to be on the ballot, I understand, in the primary. So there you go. Quick, next. New York has fined unlicensed weed shops more than $25 million. That sounds like great news, right? I guess the Office of Cannabis Management hasn't been all that bad in the long run. $25 million. That'll teach them. Oh, wait. They've collected almost none of that. The state has levied more than $25 million in fines against unlicensed smoke shops for selling cannabis products since last year. But so far, only a minuscule percent of those fines have been collected. How minuscule? The Office of Cannabis Management, after fining more than $25 million, has collected $22,500 in fines, and the Department of Taxation and Finance has collected a total of $0 in fines thus far. The Times Union editorial board has a nice piece saying, put New York's embarrassing map saga, meaning the congressional district maps, to rest. Oh, they had a good line in there, too. I'm out of time. Had one good line, though, at the end. The principle at issue is simple. Voters should choose their elected officials. Elected officials should not choose their voters. I thought that was a very good point. We are out of time. Thank you to everybody who joined us. Make sure you join us tomorrow. We'll have a representative from the Gaffer District Inn to tell us about cabin fever. And as always, we're just going to have a very busy, fun show. And I hope you'll be a part of it. Starting at 7. We'll see you tomorrow.
Something with a diamond in it.
Diamondback rattlesnake.
It's in the name. Name a low-calorie food you might make your edible underwear out of.
Salmon.
Watch it weeknights. Share it the next day.
Wild caught Norwegian teriyaki.
Share in the fun. Weeknights on Family Feud.
7 and 6.